That night, what I saw in the well almost stopped my heart. I have never truly spoken about it. Everyone in my hometown knows the well, but no one ever talks about it. It is as if the whole town agreed to forget. They know, but they refuse to remember. I also stayed silent for years, until that night when it came back into my dreams and would not let me sleep. After my father died, I was forced to return to the town. My life in the city had fallen apart. My job had crumbled. My relationships ended. Something inside me whispered, "Go back. Face what you left behind." When I arrived, the town looked different, but the people looked the same. Only my memories had stayed exactly where I left them. When I stepped onto the old porch, the wood still creaked the way it did when I was a kid. The sound stirred something inside me, like the house had been waiting for me all these years without moving. Inside, each room felt frozen in time. My old bedroom still had the scratch marks I carved on the wall as a child. Seeing them brought back the first time I ever found the well my mother used to warn me over and over again to stay away from that part of the woods. She would say the well was not just a hole in the ground, but a door to something old and hungry. Back then, I thought she was just trying to scare me. Now I understand she was afraid of something she didn't dare explain. On my second night back, I heard a strange humming sound outside. Not wind, not an animal, something deeper. Like a breath coming from beneath the earth. When I stepped onto the porch, the sound vanished. But the moment my foot touched the old forest path behind the house, the humming began again. It came from the direction of the well. I told myself I was being ridiculous. I was grown now, not the trembling child who used to run past the trees with my eyes closed. Still, my feet moved on their own, carrying me down the path. The forest swallowed me with its cool darkness. Whenever I walked here as a kid, I felt watched. Now the feeling was stronger than ever. When I reached the clearing, moonlight fell on the stones of the well, making them glisten. It looked exactly the same as I remembered, except for one thing. The old iron lid that used to cover it was gone. Not just removed, thrown aside, split open like it had been smashed by something incredibly strong. My father once tried to lift it and couldn't move it an inch. Now it lay cracked on the ground. I stepped closer and looked down. At first, there was only darkness. Then the humming returned, rising from deep below. Slow, wet, rhythmic, like something breathing. My chest tightened. I leaned in despite every instinct telling me to run. The breathing matched mine. When I inhaled, it inhaled. When I held my breath, it stopped. Then I heard a faint scraping sound, something dragging across stone. I should have left right then. Any sane person would have. But it felt like the darkness at the bottom of the well was pulling at me. I leaned closer, losing my balance for a moment before catching myself. My eyes strained to focus. A whisper floated up. Not words, not clear speech, but definitely a human voice. Muffled, like someone speaking from underwater. The whisper echoed again, louder this time. My whole body froze. Then I saw it. A hand. Thin, dry, lifeless. It slid out from between the stones inside the well. The nails were cracked and long, covered in dirt. The hand groped slowly up the inner wall, searching for something to hold. My breath turned to ice. Childhood stories of missing kids, strange cries in the woods, and the faceless woman people never talked about filled my mind at once. The hand climbed higher, then an arm. The skin shifted unnaturally, as if it was breathing on its own. When the vague shape of a face rose slightly into the faint moonlight, I felt the scream in my throat, but nothing came out. I could not see its eyes, but I felt its gaze. It knew why I had returned. It knew my name. My legs finally moved. I stumbled backward, tripped, and fell hard onto the ground. Behind me came a low, throaty growl. Stones cracked and splintered. Something was climbing up, fast. I scrambled to my feet and ran. Branches tore at my arms as I sprinted toward home. When I reached the porch, I heard something moving through the trees behind me. It sounded like crawling mixed with running, something broken trying to chase something whole. Inside, I locked the door and turned off the lights. Peeking through the window, I saw nothing. Then a shape appeared in the distance, standing motionless near the edge of the woods, tall, thin, watching. I did not sleep that night. Every creak made me flinch. Eventually, morning came, and a fragile sense of courage returned. I had convinced myself it had to be a hallucination, a stress dream made real by grief. I needed to confirm it. I needed proof that nothing had happened. At midday, I walked back to the well. What I saw turned my stomach. Some of the stones around the rim were broken. Freshly broken. Not by tools, but by force. On the ground were deep gouges in the soil, claw-shaped marks leading from the well outward. Then they stopped abruptly, like the creature had crawled out, then changed its mind and slid back in. I backed away. The rest of that day felt like a fever. As night fell, a pressure grew inside my head. My ears rang with that same humming, now constant, calling me, pulling me. It was not grief or imagination. Something in that well wanted me. Around midnight, a faint tapping woke me. It came from outside my window. I forced myself to look. Beneath the glass, I saw long, thin marks carved into the dirt. Fresh, like fingers had dragged across the ground. The marks led from my window back toward the forest. It wanted me to follow. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside. Each breath felt heavy. Still, I walked the path again. The trees seemed to twist toward me. Shadows unfolded like reaching hands. When I arrived, the well was wide open. The broken lid pushed even farther away. I shined the light down. The beam cut into the darkness, but the bottom was still hidden. Then I heard it. A voice. This time clearer than before. A rough, cracked voice calling my name. It was my father's voice. For a moment, my heart broke. My father had spent his life avoiding this place. He must have known something. Now his voice echoed from the depths. "Help me," it said. "Come back." I leaned closer. The voice trembled, desperate. But then another voice rose beside it. Softer, higher. My mother's voice. Then another, and another. Voices of people long gone, overlapping into a chorus of pleading whispers. They all said the same thing. "Come down. Help. Come down." A shiver crawled across my spine. These were not my family. These were imitations. Something down there was wearing their voices like masks. Before I could retreat, that hand shot out again. Faster this time. It gripped the rim, pulling up a face, a rotting, swollen, eyeless face. Its skin glistened, as if soaked in something thick and cold. It dragged itself upward with a horrible strength. The sounds it made were like wet stones grinding together. This time, I found my voice. I screamed and stumbled back. The creature lurched higher, stretching toward me. I turned and ran, crashing through the brush once more. It did not chase me out of the forest. It did not need to. It knew I would return back in my house, Shaken uncontrollably, I waited for the creature to follow. It never appeared. But I know now that this is not over. The whispers have not stopped. They hum through the walls. They vibrate through my dreams. That thing knows my name. It knows my mind. It knows I heard the voices. And it will keep calling because the well is hungry. And I am what it wants. And the worst part is this. That night, what I saw in the well almost stopped my heart. But now I understand that what I saw that night was only the beginning.